Right, so very good evening to everybody. Today we're going to discuss a little bit more on Wipro questions. So we are going to discuss, we are preparing for the upcoming Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt, although the exact date hasn't been announced for that, but we're just preparing for that one. And thanks everybody for coming in right now. Do let us know if you're liking our session so far. We're going to talk about Wipro today, a Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. It's a test that's going to come up. If you don't know about it, please go ahead and check out our Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt video. We discussed about that. Do like it and go and check that out and subscribe to this channel. You'll come to know more about such classes that we're doing, especially on Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt and any other such contests that are going to happen soon. So that's there. Yeah, so we're going to get started right now on that. And yes, let us know in the chat that you are here so that we know that you are here, and then we can speak to you, talk to you, and so on, right? So that's what we're going to do. Okay, just opening up about the Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. So this is the pattern of the test that was conducted in 2020. Just putting it out here for those of you who might have missed our previous session. And if you're not really sure about what Elite National Talent Hunt is, what this Wipro thing is all about, please check out our previous session. We'll tell you. But basically, this was the pattern where we have verbal, reasoning, and numerical ability, and about 60 minutes duration you'll get, and you'll get about like these many questions. That would be about 52 questions is what you're going to get in this. And also one essay writing question of 20 minutes and two coding questions of overall being 60 minutes. Now this is as per our expectation from last year's syllabus. This could change this year, it may not change this year. First of all, we don't even know the date of when it's going to come up, so wait for the date that it's going to come out, and let's wait for that at least, right? Yeah, so but when I say wait for the date, it means that you should wait to know the official confirmation. But from our sources, somewhere late November is when it's going to happen. So last week of November is when you should probably expect the Elite National Talent Hunt to be announced. So your preparation should start away right now. That's what our suggestion to you is. You should start the preparation right now. And before I go ahead and talk about the coding question we have for today, which is the colony of 8 cells, just want to tell you a little bit about the Wipro preparation pack that we have created. If you go through the Wipro preparation pack, you can actually get 1 free mock test and 5 paid mock tests. So my suggestion would be to at least do the 1 free mock test. That mock test will be really helpful to you all, right? And somebody is saying okay, yeah, good evening all. So you can actually go ahead and check the fun free mock test over here. I'll just click this link. So when you click this link, this opens up over here. Yeah, so this is what will open up for all of you. Yeah, this is what opens up, and you can go ahead and try 1 free module. When you let me just click that. If I try 1 free module right now, this is the page that opens up, and the first module is what is freely available for you, in which you can actually go and try out this the mock test, which is verbal questions as well as analytical questions, and 2 coding questions as well. You can try this out completely free, and I would just suggest you go ahead and try that out, because many times the same question repeats and you start feeling bad that you haven't really tried out that one. So try that out. Today's question that we are going to do today is called the colony of 8 cells, right? So I just go to Wipro previous year's coding questions. We have more than 50 previous year's coding questions, and the question should be somewhere here, array, and arrays. In arrays, it's called colony of 8 cells. So this is the question that we're going to look at today itself. It's a pretty famous question in terms of Wipro. Wipro generally asks this kind of a question. So we're going to go to the question called colony of 8 cells right now. Okay, so yeah, let's read that. And before I start, do make sure that you like this stream so that more other people come to know about it. The more people come to know about it, the better it is for them, for their preparation, and so on. Okay, all right. So there is a colony of 8 cells arranged in a straight line, where each day every cell competes with its adjacent cells, neighbor. Okay, each day for each cell, if its neighbors are both active or both inactive, the cell becomes inactive the next day. So basically, if its neighbors are both active or both inactive, like, so either both are ones, so as you'll come to know in this question, either both are ones or both are 0. In this case, it becomes inactive the next day. Otherwise, it becomes active the next day. So otherwise, it's going to become active the next day, right? So if, let's say, one is active, one is inactive, or it's like how you can say if they're active or inactive is by an integer value 1. An integer value 1 represents an active cell, and value of 0 represents an inactive cell. So what the question is saying is, if I'm a particular cell, and I have two neighbors, right? If both my neighbors are active or both my neighbors are inactive, that is, if both the neighbors are 1 or if both the neighbors are 0, then on the next day this one will also become inactive. However, if either one is active and the other is inactive, so it's either 1 0 or 0 1, then it becomes active the next day. A trick question to you all: which bit formula follows this? I mean, you don't need to know it, it's a bit operation, you don't really need to know it, but which kind of bit operation actually follows this thing, that if it's both 1 1 and 0 0, it will become 1 next time, and if it's just 1 0 and 0 1, it will become 1 next time. So which bitwise operation follows this? I've given you too many hints, but yeah. Anyway, so the two cells on the ends have single adjacent cells, so the other adjacent cell can always assumed to be inactive. So this is one other assumption that we're making. Even after updating the cell state, consider its previous state for updating the state of other cells. Update the cell information of all cells simultaneously. Okay, let's look at an example to find out. So what we're supposed to do is, one second, write a program which takes input one integer representing the number of days to simulate, and one 8-element array of integers representing the current state of 8 cells. Okay, all right, an integer value of 1. Okay, so you already saw this. So let's take for example this, right? So we had something like 1 0 1 1 1 0 1, right? So if we have something like that, I'll just come back to my slides. So if we had, let's say, a cell of something like this, 1 0 1 0 1 0 0 1, right? So after 1 day, what happens to it? Well, what we assume is this is the one cell, right? It has only one neighbor, that is 0 is its only neighbor. And so the question says, for the starting and the ending, you can assume the other neighbor to always be active, right? You can assume the other neighbor to always be active. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, can always assume to be inactive. Sorry, not active. You can assume the other cell to always be inactive. So the other adjacent cell can assume to always be inactive. So you can assume a 0 on the left side and a 0 on the right side. That's what you can assume over here. So when I'm looking at this one, since both my neighbors are inactive currently, if both my neighbors are inactive, because 0 is here, 0 is here, if both my neighbors are inactive, I also become inactive. When I'm looking at the 0, I have to consider its current neighbors. I don't look at the new state of 0. I check its current neighbors, right? So for the current neighbors, both are active. So this will also become inactive. When I'm at this one is active, one is inactive. So it becomes 1. Over here, if you look at this one is active, one is inactive. Sorry, both are active. So that means it becomes 0. In this one, you have one active, one inactive. That means this becomes 1. In this case, one active, one inactive, so this becomes 1. In this case, one inactive, one active, it means 1. And over here, since both are inactive, this one will also become inactive. The rule basically is this. So anyway, we are getting the answer 0 0 1 0 1 1 0, right? That's the answer we're getting. Let's go ahead and check out our answer over here as well. We are getting the answer 0 0 1, getting the answer 0 0 1 0 1 1 0. That's exactly the answer we also got, right? 0 0 1 0 1 1 0. So for those of you who are not really sure how to solve coding questions, especially for Wipro Elite, the first step is to always try to get the sample output by yourself. Even though the question says this is a sample output, you have to, within your working, figure out how to get this particular sample output. And again, I'll just tell you all what are the rules in which we follow to get this. Just give me a second. The rules that we followed were this, right? We had followed two rules. If both neighbors active, or rather, let's go next. If both neighbors are same, current becomes inactive. If both neighbors are different, current becomes active, right? So this is what it is. And so a slight bit of trivia for all of you, as I had mentioned, was what is a bitwise operator, that the operator that when both are same, it becomes inactive, and both are different, becomes active. So you can also use this, could also be signified using an XOR, right? And for those of you who know, 1 XOR 1 is equal to 0. 0 XOR 0 is also equal to 0. You have 1 XOR 0 is equal to 1. and 0 XOR 1 is also equal to 1. So this is another case, so you could use an XOR operator. I'm not going to do that, but just a simple bit of trivia, simple bit, for you. So that's one thing, right? So yeah, guys, let us know in the chat if you have any doubts or questions so far. Happy to help you out with any doubts or questions. Do share those, right? Yeah, somebody shared a XOR in the chat. Very, very nice. That's correct. XOR is the right answer. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's so we have to implement this. How will we go about implementing this one, right? The thing is, we don't have to just implement it after 1 day, right? So after 2 days, so after the second day, on the second day again from this previous state, we should implement the third state. So basically we have to keep checking after each day what's going to happen. You don't have to stop. The number of iterations you're supposed to do is also given in the question. So if I had to go forward and do it for the next one, here both are inactive, so this also remains inactive. One is active, one is inactive. It becomes 1. This becomes 0. This stays 0. This is 1. This is 0. This one is 1, and this one becomes 1 because the right side would be inactive, right? So if the question had told us, okay, not after 1 day, we want to find out after 2 days what is the state, we would have displayed this second array, right? So this is the array that we would have displayed. So basically after a particular number of days, that is after n days, that is the input that's given to us, that's the first input that's given to us, which is the number of days. We are supposed to figure out after each day what is the state, and we're supposed to give that. So the first approach should obviously be take input the numbers, take input the n number of days. So that's the first thing that we're going to do, and take input the what else are we taking input? Take input the array itself, right? And which is like 8 digits, right? This is what we're going to do, and this is 8 digits. We're going to just spread them out and we're going to get them. Okay, great. So we got this. Then what should we do? So the simple thing you can do is for I in for I from 1 to less than equal to days, right? That is, we want to go through these many times. Generate temporary temp array, right? And then what do you do? Swap original array and temporary array, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the original array, we're going to generate a temp array from it, then we'll swap them and we'll start working on our original array again, because now the original array is the temp array. So basically, why are we doing that? Because see, when we have an array like this is the original, I create a temp array and swap them. So basically now what happens is your original is now this, because the next day is actually going to be stored in your original, right? So we always want to make sure that we are making the change on the latest array. We are always making the change on the latest array. We are not creating we're not again and again just modifying the original array. We create a new array, we make the change, and then we discard the previous array and go ahead with the new array. So more than swapping, I could say you are probably discarding the previous array. So discard original, temp is new original, right? So you should mark the temp as a new original value. So you take the previous array, discard it, and then the temp is the new original value that you will keep over here. Okay. Alright, so let's see how to implement this. I'll implement it in Python because we got a lot of requests for Python. Yesterday also we did a session in Python, and I think we got a lot of requests in Python. So I'll just quickly go ahead and implement this one in Python. It's super simple to get it done in Python. However, this can also be done in C programming or any other language as well. So that's not a big deal. You can go ahead and try it out. What do I say? The logic remains the same, so the logic will not really change at this particular point. So the logic will continue to remain the same, right? Okay, guys, are you following so far? Before I go ahead, are you following? Do you have any doubts? Do you have any questions? Are you following at all? If you are not following, let me know. I will explain it again. But do let me know if you guys are following or not following, or just say hi in the chat so that we know you're here, right? That would be really helpful as well. Okay, great. Let's start, then let's implement this particular logic in our question. So let's go ahead, implement it. Let's go here. Okay. So the first thing that we're supposed to input is the number of days, right? So let's do days is equal to int input, right? And original cell is equal to list map int map int input, right? So we created this. This is the way you take an array in Python. That is, you actually input a complete integer array. And if you don't know how to do this, just go ahead and look this up. This is a very sample and standard way of taking the array. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do is for I in range of 1 to days plus 1. It is nothing but for I in range 1 to less than days plus 1, right? So we want to go to equal to days. That's why we're going to days plus 1 over here, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so we'll do this for I in range 1 to days plus 1. We have an original and we want to create the new one, right? So temp is equal to, let's say, 0 into 8. So now we created a new array of 8 elements, but all of them are 0, right? And what should we do? We should go through the original, and depending on the original what the state is, we should create the new one, correct? So the edge case here is to generate the new one, the first and last element are going to be generated by default, right? So what do I mean by that? See, for example, if leaving the first and last element aside, let's leave the first and last element aside. Let's do it like this. For j in range, we have 1 to 7, right? We'll keep 1 to 7. So then it will go to 6, right? It'll go to 1 2 3 4 5 6. The 0th and the 7th index will change later on. We don't really want to change right now. We'll change later on. Okay. So what we'll do is if original of j minus 1 is not equal to original of j plus 1. If these both are not equal, then what do we do? Temp of j is equal to 1. So when in the original, if two elements, that's the two neighbors before and after, are not equal, so if the two elements before and after are not equal, what do? We make it such that the temp of j is equal to 1. We set it over here. Okay. Else, this means they are equal. So the previous one and the next one are equal. So if they both are equal, we make temp of j is equal to 0. This is what we do over here, right? Now we have still not addressed what we do with this one, right? So if like for 0 and 7, so let's do that over here. If original of 0 is equal to 0, so if it's equal to 0, it means that sorry, not equal to 0. If original of 1 is equal to 0, right? Because at the 0th position, if I check over here, this is the 0th position, right? At the 0th position, what is the neighbor? One of the neighbors is index 1. The other one is, we know it's 0. So if it's both are equal to 0, then what do we do? Temp of 0 is equal to, both are 0, so this will remain 0, right? Else temp of 1 is equal to 1, right? Temp of 0 is equal to 1. So now that means that they both are not equal. That is the case, right? Otherwise, and let's also do the same thing for temp of 7, right? So we'll do the same thing for temp of 7, because these are the two edge cases, the last two elements, so they are the edge cases. So if for temp of 7, I have to check temp of 6. If temp of 6 is equal to 0, then temp of 7 is equal to 0, else temp of 7 is equal to 1, right? So we check this, and then for the elements in 1 to 7, we did this. So by the end of this loop, temp has been set, right? So the temp we have set. So now all we need to do is actually point the original to temp, right? So we say original is equal to temp. So now original is pointing to temp, and temp, when it goes into the next loop, will again be an empty array. So temp is again going to be an empty array, and we're again going to set that over here, and we'll get this original is equal to temp over here, right? Okay. Finally, what do we need to do? We need to print the entire array again, right? That's what we need to do. Yeah. So for element in this case, original and temp will both be same. Think about it. When the loop ends finally, temp and original will both be same. So I'll just do for element in original. What I'm going to do is I am going to say for element in original, print element, but we need to give it space separated. So we'll do it end is equal to space. We'll keep a space after it, right? And yeah, that should be it. Let's run it and check whether we get any errors or any output errors or anything. Okay, it passed the test cases. It passed these test cases. Let us submit and check whether it passed all the test cases. Yes, it does pass all of the test cases with that amazing animation, which we all love, that tells the Edyst platform that, or the Edyst platform way of telling you that you've actually passed all the cases. So yeah, that was the question. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We kind of solved it in just roughly 10 minutes. And this is the kind of question that had come in, Wipro. So not super difficult, but again, you needed to know how to do arrays. You needed to know how to do, generating a new array and then letting go of the previous array and so on. This is also possible to do in C programming, by the way. The only change you'll probably do in C programming is you can't just do original is equal to temp like this. You'll have to actually copy all of the elements of temp into original and then make temp as 0. So you'll have to actually copy that, and you could use another for loop, you could use a function, up to you. But that's how I would suggest you solve it in C programming. So again, just to recap everybody, what we had done was we are running a loop first of all for the number of days. In each day, we generate a new temp original array. So we're generating a temp original array, a temp array, which is just 0 elements or 8 elements, in each of them zeros. Then based on the original, we actually set or unset the values in temp. You could have used an XOR. I have not used an XOR, but you could have used an XOR, right? So you could, based on the original elements, you are going to set up the elements in temp. Once you've done the elements in temp, what you're going to say is, okay, now treat this as the original, because on the next day, I want to be able to, change this particular element, this particular set of elements. So I don't care about day -2. I always care about day -1, the previous day. So that's what I'm doing over here. That once I generated the temp array, I say original is equal to temp, and I know in the next loop temp is going to be equal to a new empty array anyways. So whenever this loop breaks, that is, we've reached the number of days, it means that whenever I'm breaking, the original is actually equal to temp. And we've also taken care of the edge case that, let's say if number of days was 0, if the number of days was 0, then in that particular case, this would not have entered in this loop at all, and it would have still printed the original element here. So we've taken care of that edge case as well. So yeah, just summarizing it, guys, these are the important topics that you should prepare for Wipro Elite. So if I'll just bring up the topics. So in Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt, C, C++, Java, Python, all of these languages are available. You can use, generally speaking, these are the concepts that you should know: loops, patterns, arrays, strings, stacks, queues, linked lists, and some very, very basic greedy algorithms. There's a question called coin denominations, which will give you an idea of what exactly are the kind of questions that you're supposed to do. If you want to avail this and all such previously asked Wipro questions, feel free to log on to edyst.com/course-info/Wipro, and on this link, you will get 1 free mock test. You'll also get 5 paid mock tests. If for nothing, at least go ahead and try out the free mock test. You'll get an idea of what are the kind of questions that come. They have solutions as well as tutorials as well. And yeah, you can sign up and you can go ahead and start this course to prepare your journey with Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt. I'll just have a look at some of the some of the questions that might have come on chat. Somebody saying, I am a 2020 batch, I'm selected in Wipro. Yeah, I think our team has answered. All this information is generally released by company, so that will be good. Okay, can I also join Edyst? I am selected in both TCS and Wipro in 2020 exams conducted. Abhinav, currently I don't think Edyst has any openings right now, but you could just check out, Google Edyst careers and you'll come to know. Alternatively, follow us on LinkedIn, and we keep posting job openings over there as well, right? All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining in for this session on Wipro Elite National Talent Hunt, which is called Colony of 8 Cells. We discussed this question. Thanks all for joining in today. Hope you have a wonderful upcoming few days full of preparation. You can reach out to us for any further information on the given contacts below. Either you can email us on this email, or you can also WhatsApp us or call us on this number. WhatsApp us at any time. We'll reply to you as well. So yeah, excuse me. So yeah, that's it from our side. Thank you so much for logging in and attending the session. Thanks all, and we'll see you all next time. All the best, and thank you so much.